When we started, like, there was almost a hierarchy of what you would invest in terms of getting your bands out to the public. So I guess at the top of the tree would be television, and it kind of still is to an extent, but maybe less so actually. You know, so getting on Jules Holland or the equivalent of TV shows or like Friday night music shows or when they existed, there was that at the top. Then you'd kind of like have radio, and then you'd have like press, and then you'd have online at the bottom. I'd flip that quite a lot now in a weird way and say that online is probably above, well, certainly above press, just because you've got more reach, it's international, it's more cohesive message, you can control the messaging a bit more, and you know, I think it just has more immediate credibility because people can comment immediately. You know, it's more of an immersive media, but radio is still important. You know, like you know, you can't sort of like look at the. You know, you can't look at like the Radio 1 A-list and say that doesn't affect the top 10 of the charts. It just does, you know, so.
I think that there's a side to it as well where it's like, because we're such a diverse label and things like that as well, we've always, instead of trying to think that everyone would like the same eccentric taste that we do, we've hired different pluggers and different teams for each act. So every act we kind of assemble like an A-team of trusted people that we know and like pull them all in to do things.
Yeah, they're specialists in those genres.
Focus and so, you know, for someone like Johnny Flynn, where it's like a folk record, he'd hate me saying that, but where it's like, you know, that's kind of the area where it often sits and things like that. We'd like look at like Six music as a massive priority, and we'd look at you know, getting like in the Guardian and things like that. So we'd hire a team that are going to help us achieve that. Whereas with someone like Flume, it's about having like a really great club plugger and brilliant
getting it out to Rinse, getting it out to Radio 1. And
it'd be really difficult for us to go in and try and do all these things at once. So we kind of hire specialists to do that and work that through. And we always did that from like the first single, because you can always blag stuff when you're starting as well. And so like going and sort of talking to people. But, you know, we spend a lot of time like, you know, at the Mercury's we had the head of Radio 6 and the head of XFM was on our table, and we invited them there, and you know, we spend time with people that play music and try and, you know, make our case as to why the music that we believe is the most important is, and put that across.